there are people who can receive $1 and will build an empire from this dollar. They will wisely invest in it, wisely play with it, co-create with it, and allow it to flourish. This magnetic energy will magnetize even more, and they will be people who will have $1 and they wouldn't have any understanding of what is it that just landed in the realm, and just literally waste it, ignore it.
Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm super excited for today's episode. Before I dive in, I have to say I'm blown away that listeners like you have made this a top 25% global podcast. As a way to give back and provide insane value for free, I'd like to invite you to take my Money Wounds quiz. In just 6 questions, you'll get insights into your relationship with money that will feel so accurate. And then you get access to my free masterclass on how to heal your money wounds. Just go to moneywoundsquiz.com to start. Hello and welcome back to the M Makes Money show. I'm going to make a bold statement, and I want to do this because then if y'all need to call me out later, but I feel like my kids are in such an easy stage right now, and I just want to name it and honor it, knowing that all of these stages are temporary, but we don't talk enough, I don't think, as mothers and as parents about the times when it just feels really easy and it feels really fun and it feels really good. My kiddos are getting a little older, and Jeff left early this morning to go to the airport for a quick weekend trip. And Faye woke me up this morning and she's like, could we go to Starbucks just as a special thing, you and me and JJ? I'm like, sure. So she went and got JJ up. And while I was getting ready, she got herself ready. And then I was like, can you help with your brother? And she's, of course. So she got him dressed. Together, they brushed his hair and brushed his teeth. And we went to Starbucks, and the Starbucks was really behind. So we got our drinks right away. But then we waited 15 solid minutes before we got our food. And thankfully, we had plenty of time, so it wasn't stressful. But Faye actually went up to check on it and talk to one of the workers. And I just want to appreciate how independent they are, how much they can do, how much fun it is to have them in this stage where they are capable of doing more. So we can take more adventures, we can add in more activities and not have it result in any of us feeling super stressed or melting down. So yay for motherhood and parenthood and making just great memories with the kiddos. All right. I have such a great interview today with Homaya Amar. Homaya is just such a spiritual being. You will feel it right away in her presence and the way that she speaks and carries herself. She teaches her clients how to live in their highest vibration, manifesting a life of wonder and freedom and aligned with their brightest light. So without further ado, here's the interview. Hello and welcome back to the M Makes Money show. I am here with Homaya Amar. Homaya, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. It is a pleasure and honor and perfect timing.
Yes, we were just laughing before we hit record about the journey that it's taken us to get to this recording. There's been several reschedules, and I always say that God is my best executive assistant. So whenever things get shuffled around, rescheduled, canceled, it's just an opportunity for me to sink into the trust that there's a divine unfolding happening and there must be a better timing at a certain point. And so here we are. And you're just feeling like today is the perfect day for us to dive into this conversation around wealth and spirituality.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I would love to hear, I know you have some real wisdom around why money was created and how it connects to our spirituality. And I feel like that would be such a beautiful place for us to start.
Well, I feel that everything that exists in our 3D realm, in the realm that we are living is carrying a certain spirit. And money as essence is also having a spirit, quite a potent spirit. And I feel that from time to time, it's really nice that we will look at that essence and tap into if that was real being. I know that there are many people having conversations with money and, having a certain relationship, but then who is that spirit? What is that spirit? So I feel that what is important for us to recall and tap into is that money is a silverish connecting liquid. This is what it is running fast. It's connecting people, places, situations, people to their desire, people to their manifestation, people to their loved one. It is creating a flow that is attractive and fast conduct. So this is at the essence of what money is. It's very silverish. Wealth, however, is a different spirit. It's more goldish. It's more goldish, more stable, more relaxed, effortless in her essence, spacious, certain, serene. It's a complete different quality. And many times when people are doing money work and wealth work, not necessarily they tap inside of their inner vision to what is that spirit that I'm calling and I'm co-creating with, and I'm calling to be in my presence, and how do I play with it? So literally in history, if we wanted to say, money, not wealth, money was an exchange mechanism, and it formed itself differently. It wasn't named money originally, but it formed itself differently along the years. So the first original exchange, like if we can say the ruler through which people were measuring exchange, was salt. Salt that we put, this salt, this white energy, pure white energy. And the word salary is actually anchored in that salt, because that was the measure. How much salt are we exchanging? Yeah. Now, I feel that this is so important for us to realize that this is how it started. Salt. How many times during the day are you using salt without even thinking about it? You're just using it on your day-to-day. How many salt are you consuming? How many salt do you have now in your kitchen? Right. How much salt do you have now in your body? And
I'm filthy rich with salt.
But you know why it is beautiful to recall that this is how it started? Because now it's like so natural. Can we tap into this quality that this is such a natural, abundant being, such a natural, common, abundant spirit that actually want to be with you, naturally being with you? It's just a type of measurement to an action or a product. But the entire essence of that spirit is not to stop and measure, but to flow. And the salt, we need to remember also that the salt itself is coming from the sea. So this liquidish energy is so much there. It's just taking out the parameter for a split moment of this flow of life and giving a certain reflection. This is it. This is how it is. Okay, we go on. It's coming, it's going, there are waves, it's free-flowing, it's supposed to be free-flowing, and it's natural. And even if people who are listening now might have some situations in their life that you might feel that there is no flow, or you might feel that you don't have it, just allow yourself to play with timelines. There were times that salt that you have in the kitchen was so precious. And now you have it like without thinking even how precious it is. So play with the timeline. The money that you have now is precious. And there would be a moment in your timeline, if you keep on playing with this liquidish, free-flowing energy, that it will come so natural. Will be you, will be natural.
Yeah.
And I feel I want to add something in that little teaching. It will be natural if you will allow yourself to relate to yourself in a natural way. You're going to try and get sophisticated with what you need to do for money to come. It's like, be yourself. It's perfect.
And I'm so curious. Thank you for sharing all of that. It's such a beautiful way of looking at it. And I've never heard money described in this way. And I always love hearing a fresh perspective. When you tap into the different energies of money versus wealth, and there's a different feeling and there's a different color and all of that, as if you're wanting to call in more wealth, do you have any advice for our listeners to cultivate more relationship or trust or tap into more of that goldish wealth energy?
Yeah, I would actually release the word trust here.
Okay.
Because there is something in wealth that is so certain and royal. I feel that one of the reasons that I'm assuming that one of the reasons that people are sometimes, this saying that people are thinking that money is God. It's like you can hear that from time to time, people are saying it. I feel that the moment where there is like projection of money to be as divine frequencies are gold, stable, omnipotent, present, and wealth have this quality. And I feel that it's not for nothing that there's almost any tradition, like the Mayan tradition, the Tibetan tradition, the Egyptian tradition, Christianity, whenever they were creating temples or monasteries or like pyramids and anything to worship divinity, at least at the top of the pyramid, at the top of the temple, there was a literally use of gold, as it is carrying a different types of conducting quality. Not necessarily attracting in the sense of like the silver. The silver is attracting energy, right? It's like it's conducting because it's attracting. And the gold, the wealth, is generous, is overflowing. It's there because everything is there, because there are million songs on the earth. There are uncountable numbers of, leaves and stars, and like we are in a world of prosperity and equality that planet Earth and this universe that we are living in, like one of their strongest qualities of abundance and prosperity and literally wealth. So I feel that even if I would say there's no need to trust in wealth, because thinking even of trusting it is underestimating what wealth is. So much here, like, what do I need to trust my hands? It's just here.
Yeah.
And removing this trust away to feeling connected, feeling one. I would say that this is a quality for you to tune in, to see the worthiness, to see the majestic, to see that this is something that really connects you to your highest. It is here from generosity. It is here to provide for you.
That's beautiful. So I'm curious about your own story and your own relationship with money, because what I often observe to be true is that those of us who have contemplated money and received really interesting downloads and codes around it, it's because it hasn't always been easy for us. Like when I talk to my friends who really were born into a lot of wealth and have always had it, they actually don't spend that much time contemplating it because it's just there and it's a given, which I think ties into what you're talking about with this wealth frequency, that there is just like this steadiness and stability to it. So what has your relationship with money been like over the years?
It makes me laugh to go and recall the moments where, okay, I have several stories to share with you. I have learned architecture and I was working as an architect when I started working in the world. However, my abundance consciousness, my wealth consciousness was not that developed. And somehow I was relating to myself as someone who's not just letting money go, but somehow it was so challenging for me to feel that I have money. And I would literally, it's a true story, I would go to drink beer with friends and I had like these tiny, tiny little wallets. And all the coins had names. Yeah. David, John, they had names. I would take, like John and pay. And I would say, hey, John, just remember me. You'd come back and bring some friends. I'll take you to drink again. We're going to have some fun together. Don't forget me.
Oh my gosh.
It was literally, I had names. Like I was like really looking at them. And I was living in a tiny, I was an architect. I remember the moment, that was like a shocking moment in my life, was later in the years, not so much, but like, I don't know, 2 years, that I was working with wealthy people. And like I was saving coin to coin to coin to coin, so I will be able to buy myself a car that was like, that type of a car where you shake like in a cradle until you get to your work. And at the same week, I order to a client as an architect, I order a sink, which was at the same price of that car that I bought to myself.
Wow.
I remember myself looking at the catalog, and it was like such a stretch moment. Before I made that time, you should still made the call and asked to order that sink. I remember the sink. I remember that I looked at the sink, and I remember Susan, I just cannot believe that's going to be a sink in my client house, which is something that will make me like something like 6 months to earn. And I feel that was one of the moments where I said to myself, no, that distortion is, I would say the word unbearable. That distortion of reality is too much. And at that moment, I had my spiritual awakening. Actually, I had my spiritual awakening a little bit before that, but it's like that was part of my spiritual journey to understand that those distortions and this sensation that something is not right is not against me. It is actually for me. It is to support me. It is to support the people around me. It is for an awakening. It is for revelations. And I needed to invest in my own spiritual journey large amounts of cash. And I remember that I had this conversation with myself when I needed to make this investment of like taking almost at that time, it was all the money that I had in my saving to invest in a course that will be 1 month long. And it was like terrifying even to say to people around me that this is what I was saying. But my way to lead myself through that moment So that I said to myself, okay, there would be people that in their priority, this sum will equal a sofa.
Right.
And there would be other people that this sum will equal a journey around Europe. And there will be other people like me that this sum is for my own self-connection and for my own self-revelation. And I feel that was one of the moments where I started having different relationship with money. Or it was not anymore, like a boyfriend that is leaving you, John that left me with the bill. It was not anymore this boyfriend that is leaving you. And it started to be something that actually matches your priority and reflect your priorities. Yeah. And of course, the journey continued.
Well, it's interesting that you brought up a story around investing in your spiritual growth, because I know that one of your limiting beliefs was around getting paid for spiritual services. Can you speak more about that?
Wow. This is another. I would say that it still didn't end. I feel that there is still evolution for me in that place. There is something in the collective consciousness about spirituality that is being, from some reason, mixed up with philanthropy. Some reason it feels like if you are spiritual, you're actually supposed to be a philanthrope. And because your spirituality is your connection to divinity, and your energy, your healing, your services is about your connection to divinity, so therefore it is probably effortless, and therefore it's not worth of paying. And even if you are receiving payment for that, then maybe it's even eclipsing your light. And that was a real journey, again, that I'm still going through. And I'm enjoying now the stage of this journey. However, it didn't start with the great joy. It was really starting with, can I channel energy through me and not being. And I feel that for those who are really working with energy and really working as healer, are providing, it's like, how can I transmit and stay in a selfless service while I'm gaining something out of it? And there was a lot of insights that came along the way, but I feel one that I feel really drawn to share now in this space is the understanding that money is potential energy. This is what it is. Actually, I feel that this is why so many people are fancying it. Because once you have it, you actually, in your mind, saying to yourself, I can do whatever I want with it. But then what is it spiritual services, and what is it healing energy, if not potential energy? So we are exchanging potentialities. I am giving you a potential energy in your session with me. And as I am delivering to you a potential energy that do have the potential to completely change your life if you collaborate with it and we truly do the work. And in return, you are giving me a potential energy. And saying that I do not know what will happen with the energy that I will give you. You cannot know what will happen with the energy that I will receive. Because there are people who can receive $1 and will build an empire from this dollar. They will wisely invest in it, wisely play with it, co-create with it, and allow it to flourish. This magnetic energy will magnetize even more, and there will be people who will have $1 and they wouldn't have any understanding of what is it that just landed in the realm, and just literally waste it, ignore it, repel even from having this energy. So it's a free flowing energy. You're coming to my environment for a potential transformation. And it is my own responsibility to my life, to the world, to myself, to my clients, to become the best healer that I can be. So the impact of transformation that can happen to you in my presence, sometimes even without me moving a finger, can be immense. And that would be the level of potentiality that I will require for my services. And it's going to be a match. So I feel that this is a beautiful insight to integrate. It's very, very challenging to measure abstract service. People are so mental in the world. So if you give them a pen and you tell them this pen is $2 or this pen is $200, it would be easier for them to digest it because their mind will be calm. They can hold it. They can grasp it. And in some way, they don't really need to be responsible for it. But investing in spiritual services, investing in mentoring, in coaching, I honestly, you know what I came to believe, to see in the last few months, that the spiritual people are the truly wealthy people because they're so in tune with wealth that they can invest it in something that is abstract. And they will know that by refining the vehicle that they are, they will produce more wealth.
I love those insights. And it's never made sense to me, this idea that if you're using your spiritual gifts, you shouldn't charge for it, because everyone's using their spiritual gifts. Everyone's using their connection to the divine. And not everyone, but most people. Like, you look at all of your favorite musicians. Where do you think they got their ideas from? It's from their co-creation with the divine. Your favorite authors, your favorite poets, like, everyone's using their gifts, and all of our gifts are co-created. So of course there's going to be an exchange. And the interesting thing is that often the more effortless it is, the bigger the exchange there is. Because, and I talk about this in my money healing work, when we have a hard money wound, we're operating in the paradigm that the more I effort, the more I earn. And when we can shift that to an impact earnings connection, it really changes the whole paradigm for us. Because often when we're in our effortless co-creation and we're really using our spiritual gifts, it's not about working harder to make more. It's really about the level of impact that we're having and allowing the exchange to happen through that impact.
This is exactly what we said also in the beginning, you know, this effortless quality. Where can it feel home? Where can it flow?
Yeah.
There's this little story about my little wallets, John and David and everyone there. Not so many. There were some. And the person who had, like, you know, the grocery shop in the neighborhood, many times we were chatting, you know, about life and so on. And one time I went to the grocery and I came to pay. And he took a huge bag, red and honestly ugly. He gave it to me. And he said, "That's for you." And I was thinking, it was like, why? What? What's going on? And he said, "Your little wallet, even if money wants to come in, there's no space there."
I love that. It's actually comical because I just switched from a big wallet to a small wallet. Mainly because I'm sick of carrying around my big giant purse that my whole family wants to stuff all their water bottles, and my husband wants me to carry his sunglasses and his keys. I'm like, no. I need a small little purse. And so then I had to get a smaller wallet for it.
Yeah. Currently, your consciousness is not anymore in more is more. Now is in this elite quantity of money, which is less is more. One diamond is huge. So when this consciousness is present, it's great to have like a tiny little wallet. Actually, it's expressing your freedom.
I love that. So tell us a little bit more about your work and how people work with you.
So, it's a little bit funny. Today, I posted a reel where I'm just looking at the camera. I'm not saying anything. And then there is a voiceover, which is my voice. And I'm saying there that, honest to goodness, there is no chance, literally no chance in the world that one could really get what I'm doing just by seeing me or seeing my images or reading my words or something like that, because my world, my service, where I am anchored in my services is so much in the beyond the seen, beyond the tangible, that it's almost like the mind of a normal person cannot even think that this is a real medicine. So I'm a healer and a teacher, a master healer and a master teacher and a guide, a spiritual guide. I am over 20 years of experience of what I'm doing. And I evolved during the years from running energy, hands-on healing, and through even using just a breath or just using my finger, even further than that, just using my words or just using my eyes without even saying a word, and literally moving people to half trance state where they can reorganize, reset the nervous system, their energetic body, their auric field from which all the codes are being permeated to the physical phenomena, to the physical life. I'm here to liberate people from misconceptions and illusion about themselves and life. I am writing, and there's an aspect of my work that is a lot of writing and describing evolutionary codes that we are evolving as humanity to. So those who are in my presence and working with me can have this mutual lens of evolution, where one is to transform on a cellular level their consciousness and the way that they see themselves, the way that they see life, the way that they see true and false, right and wrong, light and darkness, like really go through the healing and simultaneously receive evolutionary codes. So the way that they will participate and move in life would be advanced than the normal. Opening portals and vortexes in people's life to a greater activation of their higher self and divinity in their life experience. I devoted my life intensely to that.
That's so beautiful. And I really appreciate the precision with which you selected each of those words. And I suspect that many of your clients, they're not hiring you because of the words or the social media posts, but really just from a deep knowing that there's something there, probably a soul contract. And that when they hire you, that it really does open up so much more potentiality, and that you guys get to do the deep work together. That's really beautiful.
Yes, definitely. I feel that more than trusting me, which is what you many times, people are trying to trust their mentor. I feel that when people are tapping into my space and decide to work with me, they trust in themselves. They are in a place where they say, oh, okay, I am at that level of creation and co-creation that I don't need to have a handle on anything that or everything that is happening. I am into a wider vision of life and what is being offered and who I am to be in this life.
Mm-hmm.
Away from survival, it's away from maintenance. It's where the wings are opened and the heart is open.
Yeah, that's so beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
so, how much money are you making in your business now?
So I am making multiple six-figure a year, and it's been a while that I am in multiple six-figure a year.
That's great.
It is remarkable, and I feel that the most remarkable thing in that is that there was not so much thinking behind it. There was not so much strategy. There was not so much trying to figure out how to make this money. And it was more in the sense of spirit is awakened within me, now within you, and with whomever is listening. And I am devoted to it. In my spiritual awakening, it felt like spirit chose me. And therefore, and I follow. And I know that people can listen and say, can you hear those voices in the conversation now? Yeah, but spirit didn't chose me, right? People can say to themselves, oh, spirit didn't chose me, or I do not have this magic, this lack, this gift that this one have because he's like that, and the other one have because he's his family, and the third one will have, I don't know, because he have a smart idea. I feel that we are all chosen. And it could be that some people were highlighted in the way that they are chosen, not because they are more chosen than others, but because they are here to remind everyone that we are all chosen. It's not that because someone is chosen or someone is making great sums of money just by doing something that is so natural, that this is for that person and not for you. It is all a return light coming back. Everything you see, everything you hear, this moment that you're listening, whoever is listening to this conversation, you created this conversation in your divine orchestra inside of you. You created this conversation. You created this moment where you're now either driving or sitting or running and listening. You created that. So this piece of wisdom will show up for you as well. That what you think that someone is having, which is not yours, is a return light that come back to you. You are the source who projected this light originally. So it's not about what someone is having or experiencing. It's just a reflection that this is also you. You also have that.
Yeah, I love this concept so much. When I first learned that like the things that we see in others that we admire, the only reason we can see them is because we have and recognize those same or similar aspects in ourselves. That was such a beautiful shift on relationship to self and willingness to admire our own qualities and abilities the way that we so freely give that admiration to others.
Yeah. Do you know what it moves me to speak about something which is a little bit shadowish, but I feel that that will also support in the context of specific this moment that we're having now. On the journey of healing relationship with money and on the journey of money making, there could be some types of competitions that you might feel just with looking at someone and saying, oh, this person is the lucky one, or this person had the grace, and it's not me. And then
100%. I've felt that a million times.
Yeah. And then it's really important, I feel, let's share how it is actually a real contradiction to welcoming money in, because money is in the quality of free flowing energy. Money is okay with everything. You can use me for drugs. You can use me to travel the world. You can use me for alcohol. You can use me for weapon. You can use me for building your house. You can use me for education. Like, money doesn't say I go with you and I don't go there.
Yeah.
It's like free flowing energy. And wealth as well. It's this prosperity, it's like falling out all over. It's like free flowing. You're not supposed to hold it. You're not supposed to lock it. You're not supposed. So when you are in a situation where you say, oh, I have a certain silent competition with other who actually represent your next chapter, this competition puts you in a place. What is the quality of competition? The frequency of competition? It's stress, it's hiding, it's protecting, it's closing myself down, and it's not telling anyone what I have here, because if the other one will know, so he will compete. Like, you literally say yourself in your head that the other person is competing with you, and then the only thing for you to do is just to hide. And that is quality that money doesn't resonate with. Money likes exposure, likes collaboration, is an exchange between people. He needs to flow through all the population. He needs this, well, now it's changing, but those little coins and those little bills who were at your hand last, week, who's holding them now? Who's the person who's now paying? It could be someone who's, that was her only bill to pay for her son's education. And it could be literally that someone else is buying a weapon now with the same bill that was in your pocket. So this frequency of saying, I don't accept that return light as a blessing to see who I am and what I am, is a frequency that is saying, I'm closing myself, I'm separating myself. And if I'm separating myself, then, like the grocery man who told me, even money, if it really wants to come, there's no place to enter. It cannot be about separation. Money is co-creation. It's a co-creation quality that we received in this life to do something together.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I completely agree. And it's such a good reminder for me as well to just tap into that free flowing feeling and really trust that more is more is more. And that one person receiving more doesn't mean that someone else is receiving less. And whittling away at any of those last shreds of comparison or competition, and really leaning more into generosity and abundance. So thank you for sharing that. And I would love for you to share with everyone listening how they can find you and connect with you.
Thank you so much. Well, Homaya is not such a popular name. Just, you can find me Homaya on IG, on Instagram. I feel that this is the best way to tune into my work and into my frequency and enter my world. And welcome and receive guidance in the depths that each one is choosing.
Amazing. We'll make sure to link that up in the show notes so that it's so easy for everyone to find you. Homaya, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was such a pleasure to have you. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
I hope you loved that conversation with Homaya as much as I did. You can tag her on Instagram at Homaya, which, how baller is that when your first name is your Instagram handle? No periods, no underscores, nothing fancy, legit, just your first name. I feel like that's such a celebrity status move. So my top takeaways are these. Number one, understanding the different frequencies of money versus wealth. I loved how she described those different frequencies and even how they look. Number two, The frequency of wealth is so steady and permanent that trust isn't even required. Number 3, learning to tap more into the free-flowing vibration of money. That really landed for me, just remembering how effortlessly money wants to flow, and that when we're trying to hold on to it, we're constricting the flow, which actually makes it harder for more money to come to us as well. That's a continual learning for me, just calling myself out there. Number 4, the admiration and great qualities that we see in others are simply a reflection of those same qualities that we have in ourselves. And so when we're able to see them in others, it means that we also see them in ourselves, and bringing our conscious awareness and attention to that can just amplify that gratitude. And number 5, shifting out of competition, because the vibration of competition is a direct contradiction to that free-flowing nature of money. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I so appreciate when you share the show, subscribe to the show, leave reviews for the show. It means so much. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you in my DMs telling me what landed for you. And be sure to tag at Homaya and let her know what landed for you as well. All right. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon. You are the best. Thank you so much for listening today. When you subscribe, review, and share this show, it's an important and free way to show your support. I'd also love to stay connected on Instagram. You can follow me at mmakesmoney. And if you're curious about working together, head to explore.emilywilcox.com to learn more. Until next time, I'm sending you all the magic money vibes.